What picture is painted in your mind from the sounds you just heard? Maybe the sounds of the insects imply a night setting. Perhaps the calm wind tells you this place is very open. And finally, the desync piano track that plays over it all. To me, the piano paints a picture of a sleepy world, one that's really quiet and bare. Yet it encourages curiosity and wonder of what's over the horizon. These visualizations are exactly what the sound developers of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild were hoping to achieve. Very few pieces of interactive media achieve a mastery of sound design and atmosphere and ambiance to create a setting. Even though players will be seeing the world on the TV and all the beautiful visuals that come with it, the sound is just as important as the visuals in the goal to create a complete and fully realized setting. Now let's take a listen on how the open-air, highly explorative world of Breath of the Wild is introduced to the player. This is what plays when your character, Link, takes his first few steps onto the Great Plateau. This opening is extremely effective in establishing all the important aspects of Breath of the Wild and its sound design. The use of piano is a central sound in the soundtrack of this game, and its calmness adds to the feeling of exploring the world at your own pace. This is seen right here at the beginning, as Link takes his first few steps into this new world. The piano builds up anticipation with repeating chords before a payoff that really slows down and takes in each note as the player and therefore Link takes their first look at the mysterious horizon of Hyrule Kingdom that lies before them. Meanwhile, during all this grandiose setting establishment, you can still hear the grassy footsteps and insects all around you. At the end of the day, you aren't here for an intense soundtrack or crazy camera movements, or even a very in-depth story. You are here for a handcrafted, open-air world that's ahead of you. The natural sounds are always there. The world of Hyrule is itself a character with its living, breathing wilderness. The world you are playing in is a lot more important than the reason you are playing in it. Next, let's take a look at how the world pushes exploration through sound. I think you'll find that many principles we discussed previously shine through. When simply walking around the vast fields of Hyrule, occasionally light, airy piano notes will play. Just like I mentioned before, the piano perfectly complements the wild and open, yet quiet and devastated world of Breath of the Wild. One aspect of these notes that play when exploring is that they seemingly come out of nowhere, with no direct trigger for them to appear. They're random, and they were programmed precisely to be that way. The randomness adds so much to what Breath of the Wild is trying to accomplish. It's the epitome of the "what's behind this corner" feeling, just in music as well as gameplay. Every other Zelda game has large and catchy music with a bombastic soundtrack to listen to in whatever area you're in. But Breath of the Wild's approach of keeping nature and its sounds at the forefront with the subdued piano taking a back seat perfectly emphasizes the importance of the world itself. The environment also plays a large role when exploring Hyrule. Let's take a look at how the game portrays an intense climate. Northeastern Hyrule is a mountainous, snow-covered area. Here's a sample of what the player hears when stepping into the chilly weather. Like other pieces of music, this is very subdued and not meant to have any kind of melody. In all the other tracks seen so far, the piano has been the main instrument. This time around, it's all percussion and reverberation. The instrumentation is symbolizing freezing ice, and the reverb is establishing once again how wide open the space is, that a single sound can echo for seconds at a time. The high-pitched percussive sounds and glimmers sound like an icy cavern, with light bouncing between the ice formations. It's honestly hard to explain, but this feels like what could happen if you could hear cold. Finally, we'll travel to the central point in this devastated kingdom. Quite literally in the middle of the map sits Hyrule Castle. Overtaken by malice from an evil being known as Calamity Ganon for over 100 years, Hyrule Castle sits as an outlier in Breath of the Wild, as one of the only places to have a full and complete music track that isn't just ambiance. The fact that this track is simply complete reflects the world itself in music. Every other part of the world, with the exception of villages, is quiet and empty. It sits in an unfocused state of peace, and the overworld piano reflects that. Hyrule Castle, however, is a focused area, full of possessed and aggressive ancient Sheikah technology and malice, which the game calls concentrated hatred. Unlike the rest of the game, Hyrule Castle is no place to just wander around. Danger lurks around every corner and monsters are in every room. In the same way that this area contrasts the world, the intense music contrasts the sleepy Hyrule Kingdom. All of these factors, not just visually, but musically, turn Hyrule from just another video game level into a living, breathing world that offers hundreds of hours of exploration and intrigue. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is a masterclass in setting and execution. It tells the story of a tormented kingdom through its gameplay and music. It's a perfect execution of show, don't tell, but its execution of listen, don't tell is what I find so fascinating and astounding. That is how Breath of the Wild creates a complete and fully realized world.